Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And I can tell you, glad to have people in who can explain things to us, let us know what's happening. We're very, very glad to have our new insurance commissioner, Tim Temple, here. Tim, thanks for joining us.
Hey, good afternoon, Keith.
All right, very good. Well, one of those things that I think people are always asking is kind of where are we in the state of insurance? I guess maybe homeowners insurance is probably always a great place to start. Give us a little bit of an update of what we know so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, where we are is where we all know. We're in a crisis.
Yep.
One unlike anybody has seen in this state, at least anybody that's been around for more than 50 years, at least.
Right.
The numbers, we're the most unaffordable state in America for insurance, which what that means is that the average wage earner is spending more of their hard-earned dollars purchasing insurance, homeowners, auto, healthcare, whatever it is you have to buy, spending more of their dollars on that than any other place in America. And that is impacting not only our individual pocketbooks, our own economy, if you will, but it's impacting our state economy.
Right.
I mean, I think that's why it's important for a lot of different reasons to fix the crisis, but I mean, that's a big one. We want to make sure that we get our Louisiana economy back on track. We want to see job growth. We want to see people hiring. We want to see companies moving back to Louisiana, and insurance is a big hurdle.
Right. Speaking of coming back, I know it's been one of those things. We saw it maybe right before, during, and after Ida, where we've lost some of those carriers. Maybe an update on where we are, maybe the attraction of getting some in. Do we have any that we're working? I know we're all trying to do that. Where are we with that?
Yeah, we had 12 companies go insolvent. So they just basically means they didn't have the money to pay claims as a result of the hurricanes. 12 went insolvent. Another 24 or so have stopped writing business in the state of Louisiana from a number that was already small for the state of Louisiana.
Right.
So, I think right now the number is we have approximately 5 companies writing somewhere around 60% of the marketplace. I thought that number was 80%, but it's 60%.
Oh, okay.
And what we want to do, what my focus is as Commissioner of Insurance, is looking at why companies left the state, and also why companies aren't moving, new companies aren't coming back to the state, and also what's inhibiting companies that are currently here from writing more business.
Right.
And there's a couple of factors on that.
Okay.
The regulatory environment is extremely difficult for companies to navigate in. It's extremely difficult for consumers to navigate through. And we're changing that. There's some good men and women at the Department of Insurance.
Okay.
I definitely have a different view of the role of the department, which is to help people that have a problem, not be gotcha, if you will. But so from a regulatory environment, we're looking at that. And then there's the legal environment. Just the fact that a lot of, and I hear this all the time, as recently as this morning, talking to an insurance company executive that was in my office, they have to handle claims. They have to set up a separate claims handling process in their company, and they write in 13 states.
Okay.
They have to create a different, unique process for handling claims in Louisiana because of excessive litigation. Something that they don't do for the other states. So what does that do? That adds an additional cost.
Sure.
And who pays that? We do.
We do. Right.
So we're looking at the legal environment. We're looking at the legislation. Just the legislation that needs to be changed to help rebalance. I say it all the time. The goal is to create an environment where companies can come in, flourish, be profitable, because when they're not, they go insolvent. So we want them here being profitable, but create that atmosphere of competition. If we're successful, and we will be successful, creating more opportunity for insurance companies to come and operate in business here, that creates that availability that you and I want as consumers, whether individual or business, and that availability will help drive the affordability, which right now
we don't have.
Everybody is
right. Yeah, we don't have many options, and those options are all very expensive. So is there something that you are proposing or that you're partnering with legislatively for some of those regulatory changes, or maybe some of those litigation changes that's coming up with this new governor and now going into new general session?
Yes. The answer is yes to both, the regulatory and the legislative side. And I can tell you I'm excited, and I am excited and enthusiastic about the reception that we're getting engage in conversations about the solutions.
Okay.
We all know what the problems are. But for the first time, and I'm told in a long time, you've got, and my process is very collaborative, Keith. I want everybody that thinks that they need to have a say-so at the table to have a say-so at the table.
Right.
You and I could sit here and come up with our own solutions, but if we don't get buy-in, from the people that vote that it doesn't matter, right? So I have been very open. The governor was very he honored me by asking me to co-chair an insurance crisis council that he formed when he was elected for his transition. I also formed some other councils. The good news there is we all pretty much agree. Those councils all came up with very similar, if not identical, solutions. So there's buy-in. Consumer protection advocates have had a say-so. Insurance industry, claims representatives, agents, consumers, business owners, everybody has had a shot at engaging and being part of the solution. So, we're bringing those solutions. We've got a pretty comprehensive package. I know the department is looking at maybe 20 bills, approximately 20 bills.
Okay.
Some, again, focused on the regulatory aspects, some on the legal climate. And then industry is bringing another 20 to 30 bills. And then I'm sure there's another hodgepodge that we just haven't seen yet.
Right.
And we're looking at all those.
Right. And in the midst of some of those 14 to 1,600, because they can get as high as that many, it's good to know that we've got that many that are really addressing some of the issues that people see. And I love the fact that we're kind of listening, kind of doing a needs assessment, if you will. What do you see the need to be as we ask constituents? What do you see the need to be with regards to those in industry? And what do we see the need to be as it comes to our governmental and regulatory areas? And so there's
got to be balance there.
Right. We got to be able to see, can't just ask for the moon and the stars. We got to figure out how to pay for it, right?
That's right.
And so that's a good thing. But we're up against a break. If it's okay with you, come back, talk with us a little bit more.
Look forward to it.
All right. We appreciate it. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. You do that with us. We'll be right back right here on Bayou Time.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Terrebonne General Health Systems, modern technology and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker. Very glad you're joining us, however you may be joining us, and very glad we have our Louisiana Commissioner of Insurance, Tim Temple, with us. Tim, welcome back. Thank you for being here. All right. So we talked a little bit about what's been happening. We talked about homeowners and some of those issues that we're going to address, hopefully, through the legislative session that's coming up. Risk rating 2.0, it's just one of those things. It's just out there that it's being discussed. It doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Give us your perspective on it.
Well, I mean, it's broken, right? And,
Right.
and it's not just broken. I mean, it's destroying the economic fabric of South Louisiana. Places where people desperately need to have a working flood insurance program. And in this current environment, this current crisis we're in, now on addition to your homeowners being unaffordable, your auto being unaffordable, your commercial trucking, your commercial property, now you've got flood, which is just pricing people out of that coverage. And that's not an option. If you've got a mortgage, you have to carry it. And so, I'm angry at the process. And I think a lot of people are.
Right.
I know that there's litigation that's been brought against the government to as we were talking about earlier, to shine some transparency on this process, which impacts so many people.
Right.
You're going to tell people they have to have it, then tell us how you got to the rates.
Right.
And look, as a commissioner of insurance, I do not regulate the federal flood program.
Right.
But,
And we know that. No, wasn't
let me
asked you to
say,
explain it, but certainly wanted your perspective
but I think
on it.
I can advocate I can be a voice.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of voices out there. And, I'm not saying just say something just to say something. If it makes a difference, I certainly want to make myself available. If it doesn't make a difference and the people fighting that say, Tim, just don't worry about it, I'll respect that. But I certainly understand how it is impacting people.
Right. And, one of the things we were kind of mentioning is that will impact whether or not people can live here. If you can't afford to live somewhere, you're negatively impacting commerce. You're negatively impacting our industries.
Right. Well, and it's been said before, I certainly did not coin this phrase, that Louisiana has a working coast. Unlike some of our neighbors, and and Texas has a pretty broad working coast as well. But our friends and neighbors to the east of us, most of those it's vacation and tourism. People choose to go there and live a life of leisure, if you will. In Louisiana, you can certainly live a life of leisure down here on our beautiful coast. But it is a working coast. Yep. People they're here because they want to be here, but they work here too.
Right.
And it's not working. And look, that has the potential of impacting our national economy as well because of the oil and gas importance.
Right. And now that kind of bleeds right over to car insurance. I would say I had a discussion with my father today about looking at some options for what he does with his own auto insurance. Is there anything that we have or any light at the end of the tunnel as it relates to auto insurance and those prices?
We do, and I've heard the arguments, we've got bad roads, and bad roads leads to accidents. And yes, we do have some less desirable roads, compared to some neighbors. But that's not the issue. That's not the root cause. I've said it a lot, and I'm taking some heat for it, but it's the truth. And it's that litigation should not be a substitution for the normal claims practice. In Louisiana, we tend to engage in litigation before anything else when it comes to auto insurance, and you're starting to see that on the property side, on homeowners insurance too. Like I say, you pay insurance companies your good, hard-earned dollars. You expect them to pay your claim fairly and accurately. Well, if you don't even give them the chance to do that, you've just added additional cost to the transaction, if you will.
Right.
And who ends up bearing that? We do as consumers on the back end. You may get something up front, but guess who's going to get it on the back end? And so we need to make sure that we're allowing and promoting a fair business process. Insurance is a business. It's a promise to pay. But when a claimant does something that inhibits that business from the insurance company from going about their business, paying the claim, that's a problem. It breaks that system. And so, I get accused of wanting to take away, claimants' ability to litigate, to sue insurance companies. And that's as far from the truth as it can be. I want, and I will not endanger a claimant's ability to sue an insurance company when they've been wronged, when the insurance company hasn't paid their claim timely, fairly, accurately. Yeah. Go litigate. That's when you should. But it shouldn't be the beginning phase of a claims process.
Yeah, claims process should not start with litigation.
Yes. And again, I'm going to make a lot of people angry, making that statement. But look, insurance is not about enrichment. It's supposed to put you back to where you were before. I like to say if someone wrecks your Ford, you get another Ford, not a Ferrari. And right now, there's a lot of people out there getting Ferraris.
Yeah. Wrecking a Focus and getting a Ferrari. And so it's really interesting.
I'm going to use that.
Yeah,
Focus
please do. Please do. And so I appreciate that. Last minute and a half or so, tell us what we can expect or what some things that you're hoping to get accomplished here soon in reducing some of these issues that we have.
Yeah, well, we've got a regular session started March 11th, so that's Monday. Right. It's coming fast and furious, but I'm like I said earlier, I'm encouraged by the participation that I've seen from the legislators, from the statewide leadership. Everybody is focused on being part of the solutions. I've said it just as recently as at the chamber meeting today. I'm done with people just complaining and saying no to potential solutions. We need everybody coming up with being part of the process. The time just to be self-centered is over. Louisiana cannot afford, Louisiana as a state and Louisiana as individuals, we cannot afford to continue down the path that we are. And everybody wants change to happen fast. I certainly do as well, but it's not going to. Insurance is a slow process. But I can assure your viewers of this. If we don't start changing now, it won't ever happen. Right. We've got to start that clock, and that starts with making some legislative and regulatory changes.
Well, Tim, we appreciate you coming on. More importantly, I love the fact that I got challenged when I was very young with a director who said, don't just come to me with a problem. Come to me with a problem and a possible solution. I love the fact that we're at least entertaining some possible solutions and we're bringing people to the table to do it. So thank you for that.
Well, that's how we're going to get there. Thank
All
you,
right,
Keith.
very good. All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment. Don't go anywhere. A whole lot more right here on Bayou Time.